Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Looking at a professional website without breaking your budget, Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960, or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, time to give official shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Mosensia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you'll love Missing by Mia Mosensia, available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, 1 target, where truth is illusion and those you love will be the first go missing. It's available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing by Mia Mosensia has garnered great reviews and even beloved and endorsed by Howard celebrities, including Jonah Cassidy, Forbes, Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today for Goes Missing by Mia Mosensia, available on Amazon. Also, check out the Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com on over 40 podcast platforms, heard in over 100 countries, including Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also, Anchor FM, iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Audible, Apple Music, and now being heard on HamiltonRadio.net. Diamonds FM, Oldies Radio, and a few networks coming soon near you. Take the Mike Wagner Show on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. And for great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com and check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast. T-shirts, pop sockets, throw pillows, tote bags, hoodies. We also got some baseball gear for the baseball season and some great gifts 24/7. Amazon.com and check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast. And for more great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com/Mia Mosensia for great books like Missing, Once, and Wrinkles. Also cool merchandise like t-shirts, pop sockets, hoodies, phone cases, and more. Amazon.com/Mia Mosensia. Check it out today. Also support the Mike Wagner Show on Anchor FM, PayPal, themikewagnershow.com. You can buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com at the Mike Wagner Show. Make sure you do so today. We're here with a terrific gentleman who transitioned from playing in Buffalo, New York, alternative rock bands to performing live theater for kids in 2003. And his song, The Elephant Song, on YouTube in 2007 led up to 100 million worldwide views for his videos, later covered by Shusha, and later signed to BMG Music Group, one of the few artists of his genre to do so. He's been featured nationally on PBS Kids, Sirius XM, Fox and Friends, The Today Show, and also one of the films Life as We Know It. And he's had some a number of releases throughout the years, like Kid in the Mirror, Monkey Business, Snow Day, Snail's Pace, which won quite some awards. We'll talk about that. Bubble Wrap, and also a brand new album called The Magic Beans, which is a psychedelic art rock for kids and families. And live, ladies and gentlemen, from the Plus Studio somewhere in the Pacific Northwest called Walla Walla, Washington. Say it 10 times fast, kids. The amazing, multi-talented singer-songwriter with the brand new album, Magic Beans, Eric Herman. Eric, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
Wow, what an intro. Hi, Mike. It's great to be here from Walla Walla, Washington. The town's so nice, they named it twice.
Yes, I think that'd be a great kid song as well, too. I think we can make something like that, too. So you transitioned from playing in Buffalo, New York, playing a number of alternative rock bands to performing live theater for kids back in 2003. And you also had a song on YouTube, which was in its infancy in 2007 called The Elephant Song, which led up to 100 million worldwide views for the videos, later covered by Shusha. And later you got signed to BMG Music Group, one of the few, artists of your genre as well, too, along with the Wiggles and quite others. You've been featured nationally in PBS Kids, Sirius XM, Fox and Friends, The Today Show. Also, you're part of Life as We Know It, and you also had Kid in the Mirror, Monkey Business, Snow Day, Snail's Pace, which you won some awards for, and also incredibly spaced out. And you just have a bunch of awards and accolades to talk about that. But most importantly, you've got the Magic Beans we'll discuss. It's psychedelic art rock for kids and families. And if you want to play maybe a couple later on, that's fine. Plant some beans out there and hopefully they'll grow. And before we get into all that, Eric, tell us how I first got started.
Started as doing kids music.
Going to the Wayback Machine. How you got started?
Okay, yeah. Well, growing up, we had a piano in our house, and I like to go over and make up little tunes and things, play da 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 da, just little pieces of music that I could figure out. And then I was told to take piano lessons, as many kids are at a certain age. And suddenly that wasn't fun anymore. You know, it was, I have this image in my mind, and it's an exaggerated image, but you know, I'm inside practicing piano and I look out the window and my friends are outside playing baseball or football, you know, that kind of thing. But something about the formality of the lessons and everything, just, I didn't like that. I like to just play, you know. And but when I turned 13, by this point I had started to listen to music that was, you know, wasn't just playing in my parents' wooden station wagon, which, you know, was the 1970s standard.
I love those wooden station wagons.
Wood
the
panel,
wood paneling,
yeah.
and the
Yes.
rich so-called leather or something. It's like, I remember that.
We even had the little seat way in the back where you could sit and look out the back window. But I haven't seen any of that since then. But
oh my gosh, I missed that. I'll tell you, I missed that.
right. So anyway, I was, you know, 11, 12, 13, started to, oh, hey, listen to music on the radio and stuff like that. And kind of got into, you know, I guess what would have been metal at the time, Ozzy Osbourne, Iron Maiden, Van Halen, right? And something clicked in my 13-year-old mind, like about a million other kids around the world, that, oh, I want to be the next Van Halen. Easy, right? You know, so, and I had never played guitar before at all. So, but oh yeah, no problem. Anyway, I got a guitar for my 13th birthday, and it was a really crappy guitar. I don't know, my dad found it somewhere for $50 or something. Here, let's see it. Let's see if he takes to it or anything, you know. And 2 months later, I had I'd been playing nonstop and figuring stuff out, and I got actually a fairly nice guitar, you know, $100 or something like that. And boy, you couldn't, unlike the piano, you couldn't tear me away from the guitar. You know, it was a stark difference, really. You know, Eric, go practice your guitar. Oh, he's already in his room. He's been playing for 5 hours straight. You know, so
playing some Van Halen, Pete Townsend.
yeah. And you know, I gotta say, within a year or two, I was playing Van Halen music. I was able to, you know, he is not some immortal deity. He's a human being who just spent a lot of time practicing guitar, and what do you know, that kind of works. And then at a certain point, playing all the tricky stuff, Van Halen, you know, I do still think he's a tasty player. You know, I think he's great across the board, but something happened where I realized there was always somebody who could play faster or trickier. There's always something. Yngwie Malmsteen, I don't know if you know who that is.
Yeah, I remember. I think he was he was like either before Eddie Van Halen or just kind of creeped in somewhere around there. So
I think it was a little bit after, maybe the early 80s, and he did kind of a classical based metal, Paganini almost, on guitar, and it was just like phenomenal flowing stuff. And as soon as I heard that, I was like, ooh, I gotta learn this now. I remember spending, I don't know how many hours to learn a piece of one of his solos.
Wow.
Right. And at a certain point realizing, you know what? I don't think I can do this. I don't think I can play what he's playing. And I also realized an important thing, that I didn't want to, because around that same time, I was starting to hear things like Pink Floyd or David Bowie or the Beatles. I mean, I heard the Beatles in the station wagon growing up, right? And I just never, okay, yeah, Beatles, yeah, whatever. But age 13, and you know, other factors involved, now I'm hearing the Beatles, I'm hearing the songs, I'm hearing what it means, I'm hearing melody and harmony, and just what's so brilliant about them. And going back to Pink Floyd, realizing that David Gilmour, Pink Floyd's guitar player, could say more, he could communicate more with 10 notes than Yngwie Malmsteen could with 10,000 notes.
Really?
You know, at least as I perceived it. You know, it just, you know, saying more while doing less. You know, anyways, my focus musically shifted on, instead of trying to be some, the next guitar hero or whatever, to writing songs and using guitar more as a tool in service of the song. So I still love playing guitar. I still try to, to me it's still something I try to hone and approach in different ways and new ways. But it's more of like painting, like painting a picture with notes and music, as opposed to trying to impress you or something. It's much more personal. And that change all happened around age 15 after playing for a couple of years.
You're talking about some of the guitars as well too. Two of the guitars I thought just came to mind was Steve Hackett from Genesis and Steve Howe from Yes. And of course, Steve Hackett did in 5/4 with the fourth or fifth, and they said that is the most difficult solo they could accomplish. And Steve Howe, you listen to stuff, it's like, how does a heck he do it? That sort of thing. So
Yes and Rush were big influences of mine too. But you mentioned 5/4. I got to tell you, the Elephant song is in 5/4.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, you know what? We'll talk
that
about
and
that.
Mission Impossible, right?
Oh, yeah. Mission Impossible. Yeah. You've got 10 seconds to hear this. And of course, we'll talk about the Elephant song in 10 seconds, but it's going to be more than that. But first, you listen to the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, time to give official shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson-Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you'll love Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, 1 target, where truth is an illusion and those you love will be the first to go missing. It's available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing by Mia Molson-Zia has garnered great reviews and even loved and enjoyed by Howard celebrities, including Joanna Cassidy, Forbes Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today before it goes missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon. Also, check out the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com on over 40 podcast platforms, heard in over 100 countries. Take us with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. Also on HamiltonRadio.net, Oldies Radio, Diamonds FM, and more. Also check out the Mike Wagner Show merchandise at the MikeWagnerShow.com. And you can also check out the merchandise by Mia Molson-Zia on Amazon.com for great books, gifts, and more. Amazon.com/Mia Molson-Zia. Check it out today. I'll support the Mike Wagner Show on Anchor FM, PayPal, the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com at the Mike Wagner Show. Make sure you do so today. We're here with a terrific gentleman who's a singer-songwriter who transitioned from playing in alternative rock bands in Buffalo, New York, to performing live theater for the kids in 2003 here on the Mike Wagner Show. And one of them is the Elephant song, which was featured on YouTube. We talked about being in 5/4. I guess that took more than 10 seconds. It just kept saying, don't blow the tip up here like Mission Impossible. All right. And before we talk about the Elephant song, you've been playing in Buffalo with some alternative rock bands, and tell us about that, and tell us about the transition going from alternative rock over to performing live theater for kids. Just how'd you transition to that?
Yeah. Well, as a teenager and into my 20s, I was in several Buffalo area bands and rock bands, alternative rock bands, progressive rock bands, jam band, kind of whoever would have me. And that was a lot of fun. It was a great time. And it was around 2002 or so. I was doing more singer-songwriter kind of things, original songs, coffee shop performances, that sort of thing. And my wife, my first wife, we lost her in 2013, Roseanne. She was always interested in working with kids in some way, but she didn't push me that direction. It was actually several other people around the same time who all mentioned, hey, you know what? Have you ever tried performing music for kids? It just occurs to me, I've said this story many times, maybe Roseanne put them up to this.
Hmm.
Just, I've never thought of that before, but there were like 3 or 4 different people unrelated to each other directly. For example, my brother-in-law, Jim, he's a elementary school gym teacher. And one day around that same time, he says, hey, Eric, some guy came into school and performed a school assembly, with music and everything. I think you could do something like that and, make a living doing that. So he was one of 4 or 5 people around the same time. I remember it felt kind of strange that circumstances or influences seemed to be pushing me a certain direction to work with kids. And I mean, I love kids, but I had never thought of that before. My perception at the time of playing music for kids was that I would have to be like Barney or something. Barney
Yeah,
is,
yeah, dress up like a purple dinosaur and sing "I love you."
now I have done goofy stuff over the years that I'm not proud of, but I didn't want to be Barney, right?
Mhm.
And Barney is great for 1 and 2 year olds. Like, it's not anything against Barney or the idea of Barney, but I didn't want to do that. And I don't know why I even had that perception, because I grew up listening to Schoolhouse Rock and Sesame Street and
I
Electric
remember that.
Company,
Yes.
a lot of great kids music. But I guess by that point, the 90s, 2000s, I was out of the loop. For one thing, I was an adult, and I didn't think that there was a thing called music for kids per se. I thought it was just all Barney and that kind of thing. But I went to Buffalo area libraries and I noticed, oh, you can take out CDs and cassettes of all kinds of things. And they had a whole section for music for children. And I said, all right, I had big giant stacks that I would take out of there. And it was really illuminating and wonderful to realize how many great performers there were, people doing interesting character stuff, different genres of music. That's what really appealed to me. I like to just go wherever songs lead me or ideas flow, and maybe it's a rock song, maybe it's folk, maybe it's classical or country, who knows, right?
Mhm.
And I realize you can do all of that. Kids don't really have a bias towards music. Their parents do, and so they do a little bit, right? But they're also really, really open to all kinds of things. And once I realized that I could do that, as long as the words connect to kids in some way, or have some kind of interaction or some kind of story or something, then I realized, oh, this could be really fun. And I don't have to be Barney. There were contemporaries of mine who are still doing this, Ralph's World, Justin Roberts, Trout Fishing in America, and they had already been doing it for a few years before that point. And they kind of helped pave the way, or make me realize, oh, this could be really fun.
It sounds like a lot of fun too. And your first one, the Elephant Song, which you put on YouTube back in '07, it wound up to like 100 million views worldwide. And tell us more about the Elephant Song and what inspired you to write it.
Well, so I did not intend to write the Elephant Song the way it ended up being, a silly song for kids. I'm going to play just a little bit of it as a reference. So,
Sure thing.
and you can count the meter if you want.
Yeah.
Elephants, I like elephants. Elephants, I like elephants. I like how they swing through trees. Elephants, and then there's a little kid who interrupts. No, they don't swing through trees. That's a monkey. And I'm like, oh, right, I meant to say monkey, sorry. And then I go, monkeys, I like monkeys. I like how they swim in the ocean. I like, and etc. Right? So what happened was Roseanne and I were watching PBS, some documentary about elephants. And I'd be curious if I could find this somewhere on PBS archives. But anyways, it was about these two elephants that grew up together when they were young, and they were very close. There was footage of them running around and frolicking as elephants do, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they had separate camera crews or people that followed them, and every few years would get some footage of them, because each of them went a different direction. One went to a zoo somewhere different part of the world, and one of them went to I believe a circus, right?
Wow.
Traveling circus. And for, I want to say 15 or 20 years, it was a very, very long time. And then at some point they brought these two elephants back together again.
Huh.
And they knew each other, and they just were hugging on each other and frolicking and having just a wonderful time again, right? And it was a really sweet thing to see, you know, that they still, after all that time, recognized each other, and there was some connection there, right? And that's what inspired me when we watched that. And I was going to write a very deep and meaningful, heartfelt song, right? And the music all came pouring out, but the words were totally different. It was like, long time, missed you so much, finally got these chains off of me, all this time waiting for your touch, something I don't remember it. But the thing is, I never got farther than that with the lyrics. I had one little verse, and it wasn't going to be about elephants. It was going to be about, I don't know, a metaphor for relationships or something. It wasn't going to be a kid's song, right? Mm-hmm. But I couldn't get any farther with the lyrics. I kept trying, and I had all this music. And then one day Roseanne is walking by the room, and she hears me playing that music again, and she knows what I'm working on. I've been working on that elephant thing from a few weeks ago. Mm-hmm. And jokingly, mockingly, I might add, she starts singing, elephants, I like elephants, just completely random as a joke. And I think I was like, quiet, I'm working on this. don't interrupt me with that. Oh, ha, funny. Anyway, the next day I'm driving to work, and I have a CD with a demo of the music, and I'm trying to sing along in the car, trying to come up with ideas still for that song. And I start singing it that same way. Elephants, I like elephants. And then in one of those things that you never know why this happens, but it just came out of the ether or whatever, I got to that next part. I like how they swing through trees. Like it wasn't even a conscious thought per se. It just kind of came out. And I remember it startled me. I was like, wait a minute, what? That's ridiculous. and then, oh, light bulb. Because, Roseanne and I, we'd been talking about maybe doing songs for kids. And like suddenly in that moment, there was that connection that I realized maybe this could be a thing. And I went home that night, and in 5 minutes, Roseanne and I wrote the rest of that song. I mean, wow. It's just the animals repeating, you know, it wasn't like, you know, we're writing Tolstoy or something, but in any case, we finished writing that, and here's a song, here you go, here's something. How's it going to go over? Are kids going to like it? Or are they going to think I'm just an idiot? Mm-hmm. Turns out it was both things.
Nice. Yeah, that worked out beautiful. I mean, it led to 100 million worldwide views, and later covered by Susha as well too. And you got signed to a BMG. You know something? It worked out for the bear. You got covered by quite a number of people, and you got signed as well too. So it worked out beautiful. I gotta say this. I think Susha was one of the another kids performer as well too. Yeah, she was
Argentina.
right, regular artists, and she was big out there too, and everything else.
Oh yeah.
And of course, speaking of animals and everything, you also had Monkey Business. You also had Snail's Pace, which, by the way, won the Pearl Award, and also the Parents' Choice for What a Ride, and Party Animal and more. And you won some awards, and tell us about some of the other music and other albums before we talk about the Magic Beans. This is great.
Well, yeah. So Elephant Song, that was the first song I decided I should try some gigs, right? And coming up this December will be the 20th year anniversary of the first gig that I did as Eric Herman for kids. And it was just in a coffee shop where I played regularly on a Saturday afternoon. They said, yeah, sure, come in. We'll throw some flyers up. And there was about a dozen kids there and their parents. And it was okay, like I learned a bunch of songs from those CDs I took out from the libraries. Some of them were great. Kids loved them. And some kind of you lose their attention. It was a good learning experience. But again, that Elephant Song was the one original song I did, and everyone loved it. Like the kids' reaction was just, whoa, you're crazy. It's like they really, and I remember thinking, whoa, there's something to this. So the next year we got more songs together. I wrote some songs together with Ken Nesbitt, who's a well-known children's poet, funny poetry author. And we put out an album, and that did really well. At that point, the question was, do I keep my day job? And I'll give credit to Roseanne for try to imagine the wife of a fledgling musician telling that fledgling musician, I think you should quit your day job with the paycheck and the health insurance and the 401k. We have a 2-year-old daughter and another child on the way. I think you should quit that job and we should try to do this music thing. That was her. That was her. And I was the one like, I don't know. But 20 years later, she was very, very right. It's been a ton of fun. But that first album made the point, like the crossroads, like I have to either do one thing or the other, because I got more and more requests to come perform at schools or do things. And I couldn't keep taking off days of my real job, So that kind of forced that issue. And then we moved out west in 2004 and started full time at that point. And the first few years were scraping by and then got some breaks and since then it's been really good and a great experience with ups and downs, some tragedies, losing Roseanne, especially, of course.
Yes, I'm very sorry about that. But of course, you won some awards as well, too. And we'll also talk about your Magic Beans as well, too. We'll talk about in just 1 minute. You listen to the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Also brought to you by our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson's The Missing, available on Amazon and paperback and ebook. We'll be back with the amazing singer-songwriter Eric Herman of Magic Beans after this time out. We're back to the amazing singer-songwriter from Buffalo, New York, now in Walla Walla, Washington, Eric Herman here on the Mike Wagner Show. And let's talk about your album, Magic Beans, the psychedelic art rock for kids and families. I guess you were kind of call yourselves Eric Herman and the Puppy Dogs. And, tell us more about that. Or if you want to play one of the songs too, like Merry-Go-Round or whatever, feel free to do so.
Yeah. So Magic Beans is the new album. My first new album in about 6 years, I want to say. Yeah. 2016 was the last one. And at this point, there was a point when I was putting out about an album every year. And some of that was because I felt I had to. And I'm happy to be at the point where I don't feel like I need to. So it's more when I want to, or when enough songs come together, enough ideas come together. And that's what happened with Magic Beans. My band and I, Puppy Dog Ben and Puppy Dog Dave, we worked on this a ton over the last few years. One of the positives of COVID, I guess, is we had extra time to, mix and arrange and record. And I think we really put a ton of, I think that shows. I feel, or sounds, whatever the whatever the audio version of that is. Excuse me. The music to me feels very three-dimensional, the way we pan things and arrange things. And I would like to play you the song Merry-Go-Round, which is from Magic Beans. The video is available on YouTube. There's 5 videos out right now. You can find them, look up Eric Herman on YouTube. But this is called Merry-Go-Round. Every day, every night, spinning through dark and light, find your place, hold on tight, smile and wave, merry-go-round. 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 Every life, big and small, here on this turning ball, we are part of it all. Smile and wave, merry-go-round. 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 Round and round and round. Every day, you and me, whirling round endlessly. The Milky Way galaxy, smile and wave. Merry-go-round.
Wow, that was amazing. I loved it. Merry-go-round. Wow.
Thank you. That was an abridged version. We extended a bit.
Oh, that was great. I love that. Tell us more about the song Merry-Go-Round. What inspired you to write it?
Well, as a lot of songs come to be, it's really a question of just picking up a guitar and just playing, for me at least. It's not often I have a thought of an idea and then it becomes a song. Usually I have to just be kind of fooling around. You have to put your fingers on the typewriter to type a book, right? Authors will tell you things don't get written unless you actually just start doing something, right? And that's really
interesting.
That's really how it was for Merry-Go-Round, where it's such a simple song. There's just these 2 chords, a D and a G major 7th. There's that one little walk down, but anyway, I just gotten this pattern of these playing these 2 chords. I think I was doing more of a thing like merry-go-round.
I see.
And when I first thought of the idea, the music conjured up the motion of it. I think it's turning around. And when I thought of, I don't know, I think I was in an existential state of mind or something, just thinking of the earth as a merry-go-round, the galaxy as a merry-go-round. Life just goes on, it goes around and around. And when I hit on that phrase, it's also kind of like, you can also think of it like merry-go-round, like have a merry-go-round. There's maybe that's more a British type way to phrase it or something. But
I was just thinking more, thought that merry-go-round, merry-go-round, merry-go-round and round. I was thinking about that. I said that can be interpreted in many different ways. I think that's really creative in what you did with merry-go-round. I was just thinking about it. Is that your typical merry-go-round? You go to a carnival or a fair or anything, got the horses going up and down. There's like other versions and different perceptions of it. This is wonderful, I'll tell you.
So I like to try to find things that have different layers or different meanings, but a lot of times I don't even realize them initially too. But well, so the first time that came to me, I literally played that phrase over and over for about 45 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
Merry-go-round, merry-go-round. I just loved it so much. And the I remember telling my wife Kim and a friend of mine, or Dave from my band, I said, maybe that's the whole song, just over and over, merry-go-round. Keep it that simple, like a drone or a mantra, right?
Yes,
and
yes.
it's that would have been the bold thing to do, but the songwriter brain in my head kept saying, no, some context, a little bit of context. So I remember the next day I told Kim, all right, you know what? I think I'm going to play merry-go-round, merry-go-round, merry-go-round. And then like 2 minutes into it, there's one verse, just one verse. And then it repeats merry-go-round. And then it became 2 verses. And then it became 3 laughs.
It's like going around 3 times over and over and everything else. And it's like typical merry-go-round. You also have some other songs on the album as well. You got Googly Eyes, you got Stinker, Side Scroller, and also Mushroom Pizza. It's got to be yummy for most people. Tell us more about those, especially on Mushroom Pizza who love pizza.
It's not yummy for me.
I know. I'm kidding. I'm more of a sausage and pepperoni guy. We'll talk about that later, though. So,
well, that's I mean, the point of that song is that I hate mushroom pizza so much that I want it like destroyed from off the face of the earth. I want, so and my band guys, kind of push me to be more accepting, be more tolerant, and that's kind of the under the surface message there, right?
mm-hmm. That's something as well too. Of course, you got a little monkey business as well too, and just a lot of things. And where can we find Magic Beans and all your works at, Eric?
I should be at all of the usual streaming places: Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, all of that. And I have hard copies, Ancient Technology CD. Oh shoot, I don't have one nearby here, but there are still CDs, compact discs, and some people still want them. You can go to my website, erichermanmusic.com, to get those.
We certainly will do so. Once again, we're with Eric Herman, singer-songwriter, with Magic Beans and more here on the Mike Whitener Show. And just a few more things as well. What can we expect from you in 2022 and beyond, Eric?
Well, a couple of things I'm really excited about. We debuted a brand new stage show this past March at a theater kind of out here this way. And it's, we call it a musical, theatrical, magical, and beanical family experience.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And it's kind of like a hybrid between what would be our normal like concert for kids, but there's also interludes and theatrical things. There's really, really cool video projections and a lot of different ideas happening. I was inspired by going to Vegas several times and seeing the Blue Man Group and the Cirque du Soleil Beatles show. And not that this can compare in a slight way to any of that, but it did inspire me to want to create a live experience that was more than just playing songs. Like there was, bringing in the theatrical background that I've had too over the years.
That's really interesting. Certainly looking forward to that. And who do you consider biggest influence in your career?
As like an artist per se, or
it can be anything.
Yeah. Musically speaking, Beatles, Frank Zappa, Kate Bush. And I just like that all 3 of them did so many different things. They, at least at a certain point, the Beatles said, "Oh, we're not going to be tied down to just doing She Loves You. Yeah. We're going to experiment. We're going to do all kinds of different music, all kinds of different ideas." And Frank Zappa started from that point and went 100 million different ways.
We beat you, fat for nah.
Yeah. And Kate Bush too. Her first album is sort of conventional, like piano, singer, songwriter, but boy, does it, go off from there in different ways. And I'm also influenced a lot by people like Weird Al and like comedy and things that I add to my music and the things that I write. SNL, Monty Python, things
Oh,
like
my
that.
favorite, Monty Python. We can go
Yeah.
on about that.
Yeah.
And
Sure.
what's the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
Oh, just smile and wave, like I just sang, remember, and really spoiler alert, I'm giving away the ultimate message maybe of the Magic Beans show, is to remember what a unique thing it is every second of every day that we exist. And this is our life. One of my favorite bands, Canadian bands, I don't know if you heard of them, maybe you're up in North Dakota, right? Tragically Hip. Have you heard them?
I've heard Tragically Hip. Yes.
Okay, so imagine if REM or the Rolling Stones were extremely Canadian. Then you'd have they were huge in Canada, like stadiums huge, but they come to the US and play in clubs. It was weird. But living in Buffalo, we were connected to their music a lot through the radio.
Wow.
Anyway, one of my favorite songs of all time is called Ahead by the Century, and there's the phrase that he says, Gord Downie, the singer, no dress rehearsal, this is our life.
Huh.
And every second is a Magic Bean. Smile and wave. This is your chance to do what you do, and don't let anything stop you. Or try not to anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Easier said than done.
I was just thinking about when you said smile away, it made me think of that movie Madagascar, which my kids will love. Just smile away, boy, just smile and wave. And of course,
maybe I stole it subconsciously from them.
Nah, that's okay. You know what? It just made me think of it too, of those penguins as well too. And
Right.
trying to think about Madagascar. It's like if somebody's in a bad mood, you can say, "Let's watch NASCAR." So and watch them bang it up or so.
Yep.
We're here with singer-songwriter Eric Herman of the Magic, with his new release, Magic Beans, here on the Mike Wagner Show. Eric, a very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely fantastic. Looking forward to having you in soon. And make sure you keep us up to date, keep in touch. We'll have you back and wish you all the best. And just one more thing before we go, would you like to play another song for us?
Sure. I will play the title track of Magic Beans.
All right, we will do so. Magic Beans with Eric Herman here on the Mike Wagner Show.
Once upon a time, there were magic beans thrown away onto the dusty ground. Soon a beanstalk was growing all around. From those magic beans, the magic beans made everything. All at once, it wasn't, then it was, came to be maybe just because they're magic beans. Magic beans made you. Everything you've ever done and seen came from just a tiny magic bean. And now you're a magic bean. We are made from magic beans. The DNA is in our genes, with ups and downs and in-betweens. What do you believe it all means? For me, it means magic beans. Close your eyes and see. Make believe. Make believe. Life is all just magic beans. A story, and we write it every minute. Once upon a time, we were in it. Once upon a time.
Amazing Magic Beans from Eric Herman, the Mike Wagner Show. Great job, Eric. And where can we find all your music at? What's your website? How do people get a hold of you? And how can people purchase your works and check out your latest?
Yeah, erichermanmusic.com, or just look up Eric Herman on Google or YouTube. Look for Magic Beans, a stage show where we debuted it in March. We're doing another production of it coming up this fall, and we're looking to take it all around the country. I'm working on some TV show ideas. Nothing to report quite yet, but hopefully something going to happen there. Magic Beans, a TV show of some kind. Look, maybe on a streaming service near you in the next year or so. We'll see. But erichermanmusic.com. That's really.
We certainly would check that out, and you got a great thing going. Once again, Eric, a very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely amazing. Looking forward to having you again soon. Make sure you keep us up to date. Keep in touch. Love to have you back. We wish you all the best. You definitely have a great future ahead of you.
Thanks, Mike.